Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kavanaugh, I just want to pick up on one of the themes that Mr. McDermott articulated in his opening statement, where he said that he wanted to protect Medicare's finite resources. And I agree with that, and you agree with that. One of the challenges, I think, is there is a zero-sum game element to Medicare reimbursement right now. And so I want to draw your attention to an issue that I'm sure is familiar with you. That's Nantucket Cottage Hospital. As you know, that was part of the process by which the Affordable Care Act was passed. I don't think any celebration in this, and that it is a zero-sum game proposition. I come from Illinois, and my home state is losing under this equation. Massachusetts, based on this manipulation, will essentially get $3.5 billion over 10 years. You recognize that that's a problem, don't you?
I'm familiar with the provision you're talking about, and I would just simply say CMS is faithfully executing the law as written.
You don't think that's a good allocation of resources, do you?
Again, I would just say that we're implementing the law as required.
Well, if it takes from my state and gives to another state, and what it does is it manipulates the definition of a rural hospital so that now Nantucket is now defined as rural, which boosts everybody up, because you know these rules better than I do. The entire state of Massachusetts is the beneficiary of one hospital in a particularly luxurious area, is now redefined as rural and therefore poor. That's a manipulation, isn't it?
Congressman, I think you've accurately described the mechanism of what is happening, and again, we're bound to implement the law.
But it's not a good idea, is it?
We're faithfully executing the law in this regard, sir.
Well, but I mean, if you recognize that there's bipartisan support to repeal this, don't you? I mean, this is one of these areas where just a tremendous amount of bipartisan interest in trying to get back to this. Senators McCaskill and Coburn have come alongside with one another. There's dozens of members of the House of Representatives who've recognized this, and this is a situation where one state, based on one statute, is getting a disproportionate benefit, and it's not getting a disproportionate esoteric benefit. In other words, this isn't just simply, borrowing from a future generation. This is saying, we're going to take from Illinois and we're going to give to Massachusetts. That's a breakdown, isn't it? Isn't that a failure?
So, Congressman, the provision does involve some of the technical aspects of Medicare rate setting, and we have a lot of experts at CMS who we'd be happy to bring down and provide you technical assistance if you have a legislative proposal in this request.
Well, is it a technicality when a luxurious vacation area is characterized as rural, thereby boosting every other hospital in the state and having an adverse impact on many other states? I mean, so Massachusetts, according to our staff that put this together in 2013 and 2014, is going to be receiving a benefit of $425 million. My home state of Illinois is down $62 million. Congressman Price's home state of Georgia is down $30 million. You know, you just go on and on through the list. Congressman McDermott's home state is down $12 million. This is beyond just a technicality, wouldn't you say?
What I was suggesting is that it's a function of very technical parts of the rate setting within Medicare, and we're happy to look further into it and look at your bill and provide.
But isn't that an overcharacterization to say it's just a technicality? I mean, it's not just technically taking millions of dollars from my home state and these other states across the country to benefit one state through the boosting of this sort of hospital definition. And if that's a technicality, then I shudder to think, what's a big deal? It's more than a technicality. Wouldn't you acknowledge that?
I didn't mean to suggest it was a technicality. What I was trying to say is that it was a function of technical aspects of the rate setting system. As you said, the provision has a meaningful impact on Medicare rates.
And wouldn't you technically think it's a bad idea?
Congressman, we're faithfully executing the law. If you have a provision to change it, we're happy to provide any technical assistance you might need.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Pascrell.